let's start recording. We will discuss what we're going to cover, and we're gonna say what we cover because the more we record, the better it is. We don't need to to immediately start. Just discuss something.
That's fine.
Yeah.
Okay,
Should we begin with
I'm already recording. Don't
recording?
worry.
The better it is.
Okay. Um.
Okay.
Yo, what's up, everybody? It's your boy, Phantasm Star. Today, me and my friend Biss are coming back together to talk about the latest episode or chapters he's been reading about Berserk. So, as always, we have Biss.
Hello.
Yes. So last time we talked about the conviction arc, the end of the eclipse and the conviction arc, and you said that you preferred the conviction arc over the eclipse, which honestly, that's a fair response. A lot of people like the eclipse, but the conviction arc, yeah, it's really good.
The conviction arc are just the conviction arc had like things about it which I liked more. Had more like small stuff in it which were more fun to read and more fun to see than Eclipse arc. Eclipse arc still good, but I prefer the conviction arc.
Yeah. So let's talk about like what's going. So last thing we left off, what did we leave off of? Was it so? I think the last thing you mentioned was yeah. So the Kushins came in after whatever. I'm trying to remember the priest. God, like God, he's such a good
He,
character. I forget his name.
he's so such a good character that like I forget his name always. Um, let's see. Because like what we're going to cover like has some amazing arcs. For example, Guts getting his new arm, or like, oh my god.
Oh yes, 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 yes.
After
Oh yeah, so that's what happened. I remember now.
wait,
So
but is there not the arc between them?
no, no, no. Yeah, this is the one I'm talking about. So what happens is that so after the conviction arc, then we're moving into the Millennium Falcon arc, which is basically essentially one of the longest arcs in all of Berserk. Not even lying. It's like
Which one?
it went on for 10 years.
Oh, them.
Yeah. So this is like the arc which we're basically going to be talking about, and it's going to revolve around like yeah, I'm going to split it up in like sections. So let's start from the beginning. So yeah, Griffith is revived, Kushin's attack Midland, and Guts essentially reunites with Casca.
Yeah. So they after him the whole reason why the conviction arc even started was because Guts had to find Casca again. So naturally at the end of the arc, no, he finds her again.
Yeah. So they meet, and then they end up going back over to. So this is the prologue after the war. So this is actually like the beginning of the conviction arc where Guts is going back to Godo's like place. I think it was at this point he passed away. Like
Yeah, yeah. After the conviction arc, he returned and got to died. He passed away, and you know he met Griffith with his new body. He
dude,
also
that was so great. Like that whole scene where him and like Casca and Guts are together and like Casca has no like ill feels like she has no ill will towards him.
I mean, she has no memories anymore. So like, what will she do? Like the only thing she like knows, the only reason why she will know Griffith and Guts is by feeling or instinct. But like she doesn't have any her memories anymore. So like there's no way like she would actually be able to react normally towards them.
Yeah, but at the same point, like, well, we'll talk about that later. But
Yeah.
um, yeah. So like when Guts tries to attack Griffith, he's interrupted by Zod, and it's like you feel for Guts still. Like I know like Godo said not to do the whole revenge thing, but you still understand where Guts is coming from. Where it's like he has no right to be um near all of his like the swords because
And
they
also, yeah,
because like
no, no,
he killed all of his comrades.
yeah, yeah. I mean, naturally, guts. You will say, yeah, and he's a right to be that angry, but like at the same time, was it Todd who like said, "Who would you choose, revenge or the woman you love? Or the
Yeah,
one, the person you want to protect? So like
but
it,
yeah, so
it's hard. It's hard because naturally, guts wants to take revenge because like Griffith did something pretty horrible
yeah, I still love Griffith despite the fact that he did that. And the
as a
thing,
as a character, though, right?
yeah, as a character, not as a human being, because
Yeah.
like, but anyway, he does declare like his that he just wanted to come by, say hi to Rickett, and then depart to fulfill his dream of creating his like kingdom. So him and Zod end up traveling down to which we'll talk about later.
Mm-mm. So I wanted to talk. Were you finished?
Yeah, yeah.
Beginning with the arcs I've been reading now after the last episode, we start with you see the Cushion army, you see like it was like the Midland army, kind of the leftovers. You saw them like they were trying to rescue some prisoners, the prisoners that were captured by the Cushions, and
Yes.
they were trying to get there, but when they tried to attack them, they saw like a light from far away, and they saw like a man on a white horse.
Dude, that was great. That was a great introduction.
And like after that, you see like a big army coming besides him, and you see like demons, and like, wait, is that Griffith? Because like you also see his helmet, and like that's Griffith.
It's so interesting that like this version of Griffith has no ill will towards the people of Midland, despite what happened to them.
I
Because
mean, he has reached like I think like his dream. He thinks like I'm not trying to say what
dude,
Griffith
I'm
thinks,
not
but
gonna. I'm
like
not. Go.
Griffith basically like already has like the only thing he misses, I think, is like the friendship he had back in the day with Guts. But even then, I mean, after what happened in Eclipse, I don't think he has really a lot of feelings. But
Of
like
course not.
his objective was to achieve his dream. He even sacrificed his friends for it. So basically, now that no, he has everything. He has like a perfect body. His objective, his ideas. He has everything basically. He has
Yeah.
everything that he wanted as a kid. So for him, there's no reason to hate other people. Now that he has achieved everything he wants. Now that he has achieved everything that he wants, there's no reason for him. He just wants to help people. Kinda. He's still a demon. He's still one of the five goblins.
Yeah. So again, I'm not gonna spoil what happens because you haven't gotten to that part yet. But right
Where
now, let's talk about. So let's get back to where we were. So yeah, Guts and Casca decide that they're going to. So Puck reveals that there is a way to get Casca's memory back, and that's through his homeland of Elfhelm. But that's a
yeah.
very very long journey. So Guts and Casca decided to embark on their journey, a new journey to recover. So instead of Guts chasing after Griffith, like he was meant, he wanted to for all these chapters, he wants to do something different and help the person that he loves.
Yeah.
So, okay, so let's talk about the scene you were talking about. So yeah, like let's talk about the band of the Falcon or the Neo band of the Hawk. So like the ones that like Griffith. So all the the scene where I'm talking about where like all the
Yeah, yeah.
Crucians, dude, that was such a great scene. Like I know
It
that's
was.
like so first of all, what do you think of the members of the so obviously I know your opinion about Griffith, I know your opinion about Zod, both great characters.
Yeah.
But what do you think of like the other members?
So there's this girl which like it's kind of strange. Like she has like clairvoyance, something like that. Like she can see
Yeah.
like she can command she can see the flow of the battle basically, which is interesting interesting power, I will say. To see that to be like she being a tactician. She also loves Griffith.
Yeah, like what was
Yeah.
I was gonna say Sonia is her name. So
I think.
yeah. Um, but yeah, you were introduced. So besides her, she's like one of the human members of the Neo. She's basically the Ricket of the Bandit Hawk, just like minus, just like more has strange powers that aren't really explained.
Yeah. You also have like other members. You know, you still have Zod, which Zod is amazing.
The-
But you also have yeah. What do you want to say about Zod?
well, no, I think that Zod is like essentially well, each member you can reflect a lot of on most for the most part on like the main members of the original members of the band, the Hawk. Like you'll have Zod as Guts because like Zod is probably the most loyal in terms of uh the members, besides like obviously Masked Man, which we'll talk about later.
Masked
Um,
Man. Yeah.
he has a weird way of showing his dedication though. But you'll also have Irvine, which is like the archer guy, who I really liked. Um, and then you have other members like Grundle and Locust, which is like the really like the dragon, like the guy who has like the giant shield and Warhammer, and Locust the knight. I don't know if you saw their apostle forms yet. I know you saw Grumbles, but you
Yeah,
haven't.
I saw the guy with the shield, and he transforms in a diamond monster kind of demon.
Yeah,
He fought against Guts when Guts got this berserk armor.
yeah. So so we're all introduced to them, and then that's when they declare all their like loyalty to him, and that still makes me suspicious about like again, there's it makes me fascinated by like the whole apostle like hierarchy system, which is like there's apostles like Zod who are dedicate their loyalty, but at the same point you'll have like what was it? Raksha, the mask guy, who says he'll declare his loyalty only out of like curiosity.
Yeah,
Like
because like not all demons are respectful against the five gods or like the top demons. Because like a lot of demons don't I think aren't really from Midland, also from outside of Midland, and they came to Midland because there's Griffith, this interesting guy, this guy which basically is trying to unite every part of Midland.
yeah, so he's essentially creating starting to create his kingdom. So he wants to create like so again, I'm not going to go into details until it happens, but yeah, but him having no ill will towards people of Midland, and also I think this is like, did he rescue the princess? I forget.
Yes, he rescued the princess. It was when yeah, because like the emperor basically captured her, and Griffith basically came in and rescued her, and
Yeah,
after
yeah. So we'll talk about the Kushin. I think we haven't gone to that part yet, but um
we first have the arc where they meet the what's she called again, the witch in the
yes. Oh,
forest.
okay. So let's get back to the so yeah you also so yeah you also meet Sonia, which we already talked about, and then
And the Shirka.
yeah. So
She's called.
basically, this is kind of like the smaller war between like the Kushans and the Apostles. So that's kind of like a side story that's really good. All right, so let's get back to like Guts and Griffith's story. So like we're basically following them, and you know Guts is like really or I found this part really interesting about Guts's character is the fact that like he he's rescuing Casca the regainer memories, but Casca has like a heavy burden on him, and he does a lot of shit that he you know almost crosses a lot of lines. Like you know the same I'm talking about, right?
Yeah, I mean, the reason why I think that's the case is mainly no PTSD from the eclipse naturally. Like he basically saw Casca getting some wars getting by Griffith.
Yeah,
Literally, he literally saw everything. So like basically, if you as a human being will see that, you naturally your mind will like go will be fucked up naturally. It's it's marvelous to like Guts was able to keep his mind even
yeah,
still watching that.
yeah. But even then,
But
like this brings the whole idea of being like, he almost crossed the line. He almost couldn't look back on it. And that's what I love about Berserk is that no character, even the most justifiable characters like Guts, can still like
I
do
mean, I mean,
something heinous.
I mean, naturally, like when he watches Casca, when he watches her, he gets her memory like back when they were in the eclipse, and he loves Casca. When he see what Griffith did, he gets angry that like he did it. The reason why Griffith did what he did to Casca is because he wanted to let Guts suffer.
Yeah. So, but at the same point, like his I think what's bringing him to his instincts is that whole like you know it's called like the darkness within him. Like you see,
Yes.
like it's like after the eclipse, that whole like demon dog like possessing or making him do stuff or think things that are he doesn't want to think about, like what he basically like what he imagined in his head of what he wanted to do but didn't want to do. So I think that's really fascinating about his character is that he knows that like it's wrong, but that thing that's like on his shoulders telling him to do it is like really pushing him over the edge. I found that so fascinating. But yeah, so they continue on the journey. Eventually, they meet up with Puck. So Griffith Puck comes across Isardo and Serpico and Farnice, who decided they were going to go on their journey to follow Guts. So this is essentially like what they're calling the Guts' traveling party. So that's the official. I think I forget what they actually called it, but it's kind of like the name the community made up. So it's like Isardo, Serpico, Farnes, Guts, Casca, and Puck, and then they eventually meet up with. They eventually what was the they eventually come across Sekirei, and I want to hear your thought. I want to hear about your thoughts about Sekirei.
Sakurai.
That's a
Let
little
me.
witch. That's a little witch.
They call her like that, Sakurai.
Yeah, that's what her name is. I think that's what her name is. I know I'm saying it right, but I'm trying to remember.
Isn't it Shirka or Sakurai? Wait. Like her actual name is like Shirka or Skierka. Huh. Oh,
Anyway,
cool. Okay. So
anyway,
we're gonna go with Sakurai, right?
yeah. So
Okay.
so what was your first impersonations? Because she basically showed up, saved these guys from being attacked by trolls, and yes. So this is the part about I'm loving about Berserk is that it's going outside of the normal like norms of like knights and like I know we know about like the other side of the world, which is there are demons, but now we're being introduced to like and like uh demons and fairies, but now we're being introduced to like mythical creatures. So like trolls are now introduced, and I have to say I really love this part of the arc. It really shine a light on a lot of characters.
Mm-mm. I honestly like I don't know. I like Sekiri a lot. Like she's such a great character. I feel like her relationship or just her interactions with Guts, it's so magical because like now that Guts has lost Casca, not literally but like figuratively. He actually like and I also like Sekiro really cares about Guts. Now at the beginning, she was looking at him, kinda, what is the you doing here? But like after some time, she started to care about Guts. She there's an arc where she basically her spirit goes, helps him fight, a
Yeah,
priest. It's so good.
like
I really, really like her.
this is.
She's such.
Well, I was gonna say this is our first introduction. She was our first introduction to like the world of magic, and this isn't like typical magic like you see in like Harry Potter. A, this is like a lot like not your typical. It's kind of like Full Metal Alchemist.
I
Uh,
wouldn't say I wouldn't say it's unique, but like the execution of how to explain it is really good.
yeah. So yeah, we're introduced to her, and we're introduced to her master. I forget her name. What was her name?
Which one?
Uh, uh the
Her
Flora, the
her
older,
teacher?
yeah, her teacher, and
Yeah, yeah.
dude, we're going to talk about this in a bit, but I was so fascinated by her because she felt like she's been a very old person, but she is not who she seems to be. You know, she
I
cl-
mean, yeah.
well,
She
no, she's like uh living in a body that she claims that she claimed. Like you saw that, right? Like her whole she was actually a spirit.
did you say that? I thought she was, I thought she was human. Why? Let me check.
Yeah, so she was
Let me check. Let me check. Let me check. Where is it? Flora. She's oh she's actually a human demon.
yeah. So like essentially not she's not like a regular human, but she is a
Yeah, I
witch.
mean, I think like she was a human, but like here's it cites here like she's human, but her form is a diamond in that. Oh, okay.
But yeah,
I mean,
go ahead.
it cites here that she's a human.
Yeah. So anyway, she does know a lot about um the
Magic.
other. She does know a lot about magic, and she definitely knows a lot about like demons, which makes sense. Because again, we'll talk about that in a little bit. So she gives everybody, um, special magical powers. So Isardo gets a salamander blade, and Serpico. I love Serpico in this arc. I really love him. Um,
Is it not? Is it like a guy with the wind mental?
yeah, yeah, yeah. So
Yeah.
they get like special abilities now. So at least now, like they have a little bit of a fighting chance against enemies. I just love the part where like they ask Guts to take like the giant battle axe. Like
And he'd be like,
it's
and then
like
he's like, no.
I'm good. I got my giant sword, which makes sense. He's used that sword a lot. It's more than just like a big piece of metal to him.
And and also like when she saw his back when he was going away, she saw like something in his sword. Like the sword went through battles and a lot of battles, and it's really cool how Justice role. Like I can believe this guy, like how he's doing it.
Yeah.
Uh,
So okay, let's get to the main part of the arc, which is the troll hunting. So like yeah, they end up in a village that's being attacked by trolls. And now I want to hear what you thought about the trolls because I know that they're not a major character, but they are basically our introduction to like this is essentially the part of the mystical side of Berserk that's introduced.
I mean, isn't that the wall? The wall, all the arcs after the Eclipse arc are all full with demons and mythological creatures.
Yeah, well, especially because we're not really introduced to anything until like later on. Like besides Puck, everything else we're not really introduced to until like this arc. So like we get to see different stuff, and there's going to be more down the road. I'm not going to spoil,
Mhm.
but like yeah. So yeah, the trolls are like essentially Goblin Slayer trolls.
I mean, they don't look really trolls. They don't really like when you think about trolls. Usually, the berserk versions aren't really, what you would think trolls would look like.
I mean, to be fair, like a lot of I still think they look great. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah,
I
naturally. I mean, looks like they look really scary.
I mean, they're not like your typical like same thing that you probably see in like Lord of the Rings. They're like smaller. That dude, we haven't even gone to like the what was it, the giant?
Yeah,
That that's the one that
yeah.
was like wow. That's like a different interpretation of what a giant looks like.
They look more like what if they look more like rats and chimpan and apes.
I think that's what essentially it is. But yeah, so we get to the oh no, it was an ogre. Never mind. It was an ogre that guts fights, which that was an awesome dude. Those fights with between guts fighting the ogre and cervical fighting the kelpie was some of the biggest highlights of this arc. Because like guts
Yeah,
has always faced it off against like demons, and to him this was like nothing. But like I still found it interesting, which is like, damn, this guy's like doesn't even feel fear against this thing while everybody else is scared of it.
yeah. I mean, I also like Sekira. Like Sekira did also like a major role into this in this arc where like
Oh
she
yeah,
basically she yelled this guy this bishop or something like that. This is priest, which was saying like you can't use your powers because that's against the church's rules and things like that. So like he was trying to get her off. He was trying to to prevent her from doing anything. Which when you're reading, you say like, oh, he's stupid, but like naturally, you know, he naturally would act like that because the magic and everything like that is isn't what you learn in the church in the berserk universe. Um,
yeah. So essentially, it's the same rules as all as like whatever. But it was still an awesome like scene where Guts was cleavering like all these like trolls, and it was an awesome like together like the entire like thing was just amazing.
mm-mm. Farnesa also a really good character in this arc.
Vanessa.
Yeah,
Oh,
Farnesa.
or Furness, dude. Furness's character is amazing. Like,
I mean, like this arc and the previous arc and the conviction arc, she just like she went through a lot of things of like, okay, so this happened, okay, do am I starting to question my beliefs? Because like as you know, with her backstory, like she was a crazy person. There's the arc after this one, and not so after the one where Gus gets his berserk armor, there's this other arc with her family, and you will get a lot more. Furness is such a she's a really good character.
yeah, definitely. And I'm not denying that. She eventually like she doesn't. I wouldn't say she's the most powerful, but I will also say that she essentially becomes like an older sister to Casca because she's
I,
very
I
protective, especially when they get captured.
I'm hyped to read the arcs after to read the rest of Berserk.
Yeah.
I'm hyped.
All right. So So yes. So let's talk about. So after you know Farnes and Casca gets captured. Yeah, so we're that was a scene. How like shocked were you about all that?
Where
About after like what they discovered, what happens to everybody that gets captured by the trolls?
is that the one they were in the
Yep, yep,
underground?
yep, 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 yep.
Before that, I want to talk about the the two different types, the ogre and the water
Oh,
horse,
and the
which
kelpie.
yeah, the kelpie.
Oh
Which
yeah,
no, the ogre, he's big, he's strong, but like I found it really interesting the fight between what's it called again? Between
and the
Serpico
kelpie.
and the kelpie, which was really interesting. The
Uh,
wind against the water and him using his power to
yeah.
like
Well, you're looking
uh
at it like this, like the ogre is essentially when Guts faced against the ogre, he was just facing off against like what's the word? What's the word? Like just basically swinging his giant sword and not thinking about strategy. Same with the ogre. While the kelpie was more of like um Sekiro thinking with strategy about how to defeat this Kelpie, because the Kelpie, I forget what was the big problem with the Kelpie that they,
Uh, the, it had like a water wall around it and really strong, like the
yeah,
water. Yeah, a really strong water pressure.
yeah, like he, like even the trolls didn't even mess with both of them because of how high up they are in the food chain compared to them. Because if like trolls by themselves were a threat, aren't a bigger threat, these guys were bigger threats. Like you're talking,
Yeah.
which I found really interesting because, like, again, the interpretations of both the ogre and the kelpie to be, because they're not the same things that we pictured when we would see one of them compared to our what common knowledge of them. Because like you look at the ogre and it looks like this giant nasally like nose that's walking around, and the kelpie is basically like a frog horse.
Yeah, I mean it is. So after that, also, when they defeated both the Kelpie and the Ogre, thanks to Sakura using her water power, um, both Casca and
Yeah,
Farnes fall into the water, and that's when the next big thing happened,
dude.
which is
Okay, yeah. So I want to hear.
yeah.
Well, I want to hear your opinion about that. Like, so they get captured, and then and then
I
they
mean,
just.
they didn't really get captured, just fell downwards and basically some way or another, by the water fell into the hole.
Oh, true. Yeah. Oh my God, you're right. But yeah. So they discover what happens to all the people
Oh,
that get captured by trolls, and that was an interesting scene.
oh, right, to get captured by the trolls. Okay, so I was kind of confused. So to get captured, but not in the usual way. They fall on the unconscious on a wooden log,
Yeah.
and they get transported by the trolls. Okay,
Yes.
that's
Okay. So we're gonna talk about. So after that, yeah, Guts goes on a one man like crusade, slaughters a bunch of trolls, and I was surprised about how many there were. Like, holy shit, these things like multiply like a lot, which makes
what
sense.
What terrified me is when you see where Fanfare
Farnes.
or Farnes and Kaskar, it looks so creepy. Like all the faces and all the little things creeping around. It looks so scary. Like how the hell? Like I have to say to the mangaka.
This is when like, oh, you're introduced to, which is the most essential character, as the little nose troll. Have you not seen it?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
It's like a meme in the berserk community, being like he's the real. You know how like the idea of evil was introduced back in like all the chapters before after the eclipse.
Yeah.
That's basically what everybody like when people think about that. They think about like the little nose. I forget the name though, but yeah, like this is when like uh Miura really shines, because I really love the details in like the cave.
Yeah, it looks really good, but also really creepy. So that
I,
was
I think that's the whole idea, is that basically like you're not gonna picture like a cave when you go in, but this is more like a horror show. Like you
it
looks like you're in the inside of a body, which
it
we are gonna
it's a
talk about.
it's a living and breathing cave, you could say.
Yeah, and which we are gonna talk about right now. So after Guts, rescues Casa and Farnes, he basically goes in by himself to hold off the trolls and let them escape. And they like everybody's saying no, don't go Guts, and then he's like, don't worry, I got this. And he kills enough trolls. And like, what did your interpretation of when Slain was not introduced, but resurrected in a way?
Slain.
That's
Wait,
one of the God Hand members.
yes. So I forgot. I kind of forgot her name. But like when wasn't it because blood fell on the beelit?
Yeah, that like I would believe that, because she did appear. Like, she didn't appear just once, but like she's appeared like in the conviction arc too, or when she was introduced during like that with the goat.
Yeah. Yeah,
Um,
yeah. And then Skull Knight arrived.
okay, so but actually, let's talk about before we talk about Skull Knight. Yeah, so she manifests herself not in her actual form, but through the intestines of the trolls.
Oh my
Um,
god. Oh yeah, true. That did happen. Oh my.
like
That's
even yeah, so like Guts tries to defeat her, but she's like not in her human. She's not in her regular form, so it was impossible to think or in order the it was impossible for her to like get killed. But what did you think of like how she got resurrected? Because I don't know, like there's different ways that the God Hand have been introduced of like being like you look at Comrade, he got resurrected or he got introduced in the human world through his rats. That's
Wait, are you saying that all the five contents are dead?
well, they're not dead, but they can't come through the physical world. Like they can only
Oh,
go through
that
the.
oh, so that's why Griffith especially did what he did to Casca to get the new body. Oh.
Oh yeah, it's really great. Not great, but like you know what
Yeah,
I mean.
it's disgusting, but like that's the reason why he did it, because he needed a new body and to achieve his dreams and his objective. Oh, okay. So I didn't realize that. So I appreciate knowing that, because like that adds more interesting facts to the Berserk universe, because like yeah.
Yeah. But still, like Slain and Conrad are probably the most easiest ones to like figure out how they're for the most part summoned. Like Conrad partially manifests through his rats when he set a plague upon that city along all those chapters back.
Yeah.
And Slain was manifested through the conviction arc and right now, which I was curious about because of all like I would understand about the conviction what happened in the conviction arc, but to go through like the troll guts to manifest herself, I was intrigued, being like, how was she able to easily just summon herself there? Maybe there's something again. Maybe there's something else about the cave that was a little bit more interesting than like just being a regular cave. Who knows?
Mm. I think because I think a reason why is because of the suffering, maybe, because like I think like um I'm thinking the reason why she did what she did in the cave, what she revives, kinda.
Yeah, but
Wasn't it more manifesting than reviving?
yeah, she just manifests herself into like a partial form, so that way she could interact with guts. I don't know
Yeah.
why, but like I'm fascinated.
I mean, I think the reason why is because they see him as the most powerful, or the being who like can oppose them, kind of like the, and maybe they were trying to corrupt him, maybe.
Maybe I can believe that because maybe he showed some sort of weakness or whatever. Because
Yeah.
um okay, so yeah, so Skull Knight comes in, saves guts from guts from Slain, and it still brings a good question of like what um what does like Skull Knight shows up at like the times when something big is happening. So, like
Yeah.
he showed up during the eclipse or not eclipse before the eclipse, during the eclipse, conviction arc, and like he's always shown saving guts at the last minute. I still like of all the characters that fascinate me the most is definitely Skull Knight and Zod.
I think the reason, this is also another reason why I like Skull Knight is Sonya. Also, like, she met Skull Knight, and not they from their conversation you could like see, okay, so Skull Knight was once a human, uh, but he used some armor or weapon and he became a demon basically.
But
So
yeah, yeah,
what
yeah.
what you can say is, because Sonya's a human, you can say like Sonya, both Sonya and School Knight are some kind, so are you can say like Sekirei and Guts kinda, because Guts is a human which is getting stronger. Sekirei is a magician but still human, so you can say like they kind of the same. So I think the reason why School Knight is trying to protect Guts and trying to direct him to the right paths is because he doesn't want Guts to make the same errors that he made to become a demon like him.
Yeah, like I feel like that again. We're gonna talk about this when the best dude. I love the next part of this arc when the Skull Knight introduces him to the armor.
Oh yeah, that I can't wait to get to the part like, which is amazing.
So yeah, let's talk quickly about So yeah, they're finish up the whole thing and they're heading back over to Flora's place when it's revealed that it's being attacked by Grumble and some of his apostles. So Guts like faces off against Grumble, but he's way too powerful, which makes sense because I think like his legend was like he was the most undefeated. He was like next to Zod, one of the most undefeated champions in all the world, and like during his time.
Yeah,
And again, that makes me wonder about like his personality as like what's his purpose in all this, which is like why is he wanting to follow Griffith of all people? Why did he become an apostle? Like so many questions. So yeah, but yeah, what did you think of the Berserker armor?
honestly, I was waiting for it for all the time because I saw illustration, also panels of Guts in the Berserk armor, so I knew like like I knew from the beginning like he's gonna get this is big sword and it's like berserk armor. So I'm like, okay, when is it going to happen? And seeing Sonya finishing, saying like I'm finishing the less touches or the less things for the armor. I'm like, oh, is this the arc where it's gonna happen? Oh my god, oh. So like seeing him wear it and fight against that guy in this arc was so amazing. It was
Yeah,
so good.
I
It was
found it
so
I found it interesting that when it's first introduced, it actually does look like the skull as like Skull Knight. So obviously there is more to like Flora giving Guts this armor more than just like token of appreciation. But
I mean,
what I found more interesting was the fact that like when Guts finally wore it, it morphed into a dog. Like
a wolf kinda.
yeah, like, it reshaped itself to Guts's personality, which I found really interesting because again, you look at what we were talking about earlier, the darkness inside of him, and it's manifesting into like a wolf or a dog, and like the fact that that the armor reflected that is like super fascinating.
Yeah. Yeah, also another thing, yeah, I agree with you. Like it really shows his personality with the armor, like being not being able to stop, always going for it. I think honestly, that's it fits him perfectly. Another thing which I really liked was or found interesting was when when the guy, the big guy with the shield and sword, what was he called again?
Grumble.
Grumble, yeah, said to him, like he said to God, so like as a member of the Band of the Hawk, I like he thought he wished to challenge gods, and when Guts heard the word Band of the Hawk,
He lost it
it's like uh, it's, I found it really really interesting and like okay, how is gonna Guts react? So
because the thing is that like this is the part about that I found interesting about the Berserk armor was that yeah, as soon as he introduced that, he lost it and overpowered Grumble. But at the same point, he became like possessed by the armor. Like he had no control over it.
Yeah. I mean, the like Skull Knight. I think it gets some. You need some time to get adjust to the armor, even if it's really damaging. I think like because like Skull Knight, and at the end of the day, he became a demon because of what he was wearing when he was a human. So if Guts wears that armor, for a long period of time, he will turn into a demon.
Yeah, like he essentially like at the end of the day, like it sounded like he was giving him because he sees a lot of himself in Guts. So that's why he entrusted the armor to him. But yeah, so he eventually overpowers Grumble, and yeah, he introduces demon apostle form, which is like a dragon. I was like, that was dude. Like this is when Kentaro Miura was like really peaking with his art, with his art.
Yeah.
Like the detail in it in Grumble was amazing. But yeah, he eventually gets defeats him, but it's too late. All everybody run like all the rest of the apostles run off, and Flora ends up becoming it's too late for Flora. I think she said she can't leave the house, if I remember. Um, but yeah, she ends up dying, which I felt like she's a really interesting character. But I hope that like I found her to be like a really good character.
Yeah.
Oh, that's the thing. So as soon as and this is where the part I really love Sekirei, which is like when he was going insane, it's revealed that like or Sekirei was the what has the ability to be able to like contact him through the berserk arbor using her magic. And then when it's revealed, it's like he lost like some of his hair. No, yeah, some of his hair turned white.
I mean, from all the stress, that you saw him going through,
Yeah.
it's kind of like I don't like when you go through a lot of stress, but like that a lot by a lot I mean like a shit ton, like God is going through, you naturally kind of get your hair your hair starts to become gray or white, so seeing Guts having that, is not really. It just means that he is going through a lot of stress, basically.
Well, yeah, that's what the berserk armor does. Is that it pushes human capability past its limit, which is
Right?
basically which
Yeah,
which when he got his injury from Slain, the armor reinforced the pain by like saying you're not giving up, you keep going.
yeah,
I find the berserk armor really fascinating. I think it's like normally when it comes to like powers, like a lot like they're good or bad depending on what you're talking about. But I feel like the berserk armor is a good version of
of,
um
of
power
showing his
ups.
person. Yeah, showing his personality also, which is amazing. Also, there's one panel in this arc where like I'm like, wow, the mangaka is like off the charts with the art. Like it's so beautiful. This certain wait, I'm gonna send you it. But like this panel's so beautiful. Oh my god. Yeah. But yeah, I mean this arc overall, amazing.
Yeah, like I guess like the last which scene did you send me? Oh, that scene. Oh, it was great. It was fantastic.
I think that's one of the best panels I've seen in the manga so far. Like, oh my, like just the symbolism in it, and just seeing, a lot of no, there's a lot of symbolism to the clips, and just mind blowing.
Yeah,
It's I'm always like every time I read Berserk, I'm also like mind blown by the art, how good it is.
oh, it's really great. It's easy. Again, this is the reason why like Kentaro Miura and like the offer of One Punch Man are has some of my favorite manga panels. But
Yeah.
Berserk just hits different. Okay, so I guess like so they let so Sekirei ended up joining, Guts' traveling party because she doesn't essentially have a home. So, um, I guess like the final like I guess we'll leave it there. So next would be like the Falconia chapter, which is like a certain character's introduced, the boy in the moonlight, which
Um,
which we'll talk about that next week. But yeah, what did you think of this like I'm gonna call it a chapter, the troll chapter.
the troll chapter, the chapter where we got introduced. So you can say this the introduction chapter or arc of the magic,
Yeah, basically.
because like this those two arcs that we just talked about are mainly about magic. Because on the introduction of Sakurai and also of Fiona,
Flora.
she called it again, Flora.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, it's well, it was really interesting. The best parts of the art of this arc, my favorite part of this arc was when Guts got this berserk armor.
Oh,
I think
absolutely.
I think that's the best part of this arc.
Yeah.
Honestly, so as far as rating, as far as like what I think, like where this arc stands, I will say this arc, so the arc where Gus gets his berserk armor is my favorite. I will say.
Yeah.
No, yeah, I will say like both this arc and the arc before. So the arc where they go, they protect the city, and this arc, are no my top one and second.
Really?
Yeah, I
Over
really,
over the
I re
conviction.
yeah, I really loved it. I really, really like this, those both these arcs. It just, it's just the main reason why I like it is berserk armor, but I also like it because you have school nights and Flora. Also, the introduction of Sakurai. Like, there's so much good stuff about this arc, which I know like more than the conviction arc. I really like the conviction arc, but this arc, just when I read it, was like this arc came out and was like, you know what, you have the conviction arc. I'm gonna do something better than this. I'm gonna give you something else that you like. So yeah, it's really fascinating.
It's interesting that you mentioned that because, like, yeah, a lot of people really love the Eclipse art and Conviction arc, like you said. I really love. I think all chapters have their like positives. Uh, and like I wouldn't say negatives, but like slower parts. But I still think that every single arc has like its own positives in its own way that I really like. But and yeah, especially like with this arc, yeah, like the introduction of um like the mystical and fantasy side of the world, plus like all the highlights like the Neo, like the Band of the Falcon and Sekirei and Skull Knight and like even the trolls, man. The trolls were like the whole fight with in the city was amazing. But yeah, there was like I feel like this is a really huge highlight of the arc that I really liked, and I can't wait for I can't wait to hear about the next arc.
I mean, I've already read it, so I mean,
It's
you
on.
know,
It's on.
it's long. Those arcs, are pretty long. So we will leave it for next. We're gonna leave it for next week.
Yeah, because
Um,
honestly, by itself, like you could actually talk about even like the stuff that we will be discussing about in the next episode is like an hour long discussion because there's a lot to talk about.
eh,
Especially this is when like Farness's character really shines. I love her.
yeah, we're gonna have a lot of discussions about Furnace. I so what we're gonna do for next week is probably from the end of the arc. So that's around chapter 240, kinda, from chapter 240. No, so on chapter 239, because
Mm-hmm.
between this arc where he got this berserk armor, and the arc where the arc of Farnes, you have a mini arc where you get more, get more relationship, or get more interactions between each character. So you get more character development between Guts and Sekirei. So next week we're gonna cover this mini arc and the big arc.
Actually,
Uh,
my last question is before we finish. But what would be your top five characters right now?
ooh, that's a good choice because this arc introduced a lot of good characters. Which so naturally my first position is gonna be Guts, obviously.
Facts.
Uh, you know, I mean, he's the main character and also a really good main character.
Yeah, dude. I would spend like an hour talking specifically why Guts is one of the best written characters.
Yeah, I mean, Guts is the true Black Swordsman, you know.
Facts. All right, go ahead. Top five.
Um, my, s- my second will be Sekirei.
Ooh, interesting.
He's such a great character. My third one will be let's see, my third one um this is hard, man. This is hard.
Yeah, because like they're all like really good characters. Oh, really great characters. Like,
Uh, I think my third one will be Skull Knight.
oh, interesting.
Yeah, my fourth one will be. I think my fourth one will be both Zod and Farnes.
Both Zod and Furness. Okay.
Yeah, I think they're both at the same time really great characters. And my last one in my top five will be let's see, do, 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 do. um this is difficult. I'm gonna say this. This is um
There's nothing wrong with saying Griffith.
I'm gonna say great. I think it's a good character, but it's not in my top five. I
Dude, you
think.
haven't even seen. Oh, okay. Go, 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 go.
I mean, I'm still going to check out the latest, the last arc. Uh, but I think my fifth place will be that one girl in the conviction arc, that like the chat one.
Her
Yeah,
of all
yeah,
characters,
yeah. She's a great character.
dude. Okay, to be fair, she is, but like, I don't know, man. I wouldn't say I put her.
I still need to read everything of it. So it's not a true list and not true top five.
Yeah, 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 you're only halfway
When we
through.
finish Berserk, I will say my true top five. But like honestly, so far in my opinion, my whole take on Berserk is everything before the eclipse is 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 from good to mediocre. Everything after the eclipse arc is from good to amazing.
Oh, absolutely. Like a lot of people feel that. Although I do really like this second arc after the first one. It has its own
Mm.
like
I feel like they're just there. I don't know. I didn't really like the Golden Arc. I have to say this. I think it's
golden age
just
arc.
yeah,
What?
yeah. It's just it's just there. It's just to build up for the true arcs, for the two great arcs. I'm sorry, but there are some good characters in there, but like honestly, the characters which are introduced now in these current arcs are way better. Like, come on, you can't compare the characters there with Sekiro. You can't compare them to Farnes. You can't come on, come on.
Yeah, like I can understand why you might feel that way, but I don't know. The end, I feel like the up until like I don't know. I just really love the dynamic between Guts and Griffith. Those have always been like that was the highlight of the Golden Age arc to me.
Maybe because I knew what was gonna happen.
Yeah, that's
Like,
understandable.
because Griffith was gonna. But I mean, kind of because I knew it. I was like, okay, when is gonna when is it gonna happen? When is the eclipse gonna happen? You know, because like I don't really like betrayal. I don't like, when when characters betray another one and if something really horrific happens. It's not my thing. So like I wanted to get over it, and I just want to see Guts and his party going, through adventures. Just see how Guts' character, because my main interest was, okay, how is Guts gonna survive the eclipse? How is Guts gonna be affected after the eclipse? And that was one of my main reasons to go, to go ahead with Berserk. Because I really like Guts. Guts is such a good character. I can't stop saying how good it is. Like it's
Oh,
such
absolutely. I'm so proud you're saying that because honestly, He's in my top five, top two characters of all time, and I think that he is. Yeah, like he is one of the most well written human characters out there.
human.
Yeah, like in terms of like he's not like a Super Saiyan god or whatever. Like he's or a
I mean,
ninja or whatever. He's just like a regular guy. Not a regular guy, but you know what I mean.
I think for now, I will say that Guts will probably I think he will probably be in my top 50. I'm gonna wait and see when I end Berserk. I think I need to make a top 50 favorite characters in anime and manga lineups to see like how which character I like the most and see how Guts comes there. Like how which position.
Yeah, like yeah, but I still think he is like one of the most well
It
written
is
characters.
it. And like I'm saying, he's my favorite character in Berserk, and he's an amazing character. But like, yeah, I have other characters which I really love. So who knows? Who knows?
Who knows, indeed. All right. Okay. Is there anything else we need to talk about before we end? Uh,
We're gonna cover next week. We're gonna cover the mini arc and the arc, and the Furnace arc. So stay tuned for that, I guess.
yeah. So until then, all right. I guess that should be it. All right, everybody. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. I know I did. I know Biss isn't really enjoying Berserk, which I'm happy about. And remember to please like, subscribe, comment on this video. It means a lot to me. And until then, have yourself a great day. Bye.
See ya.